Guys, I want to start by saying go on to Chuckie Online and watch the vid Start American Over Again. Now, I will be putting the link down in the description for you guys to see, but a lot of the basis of what I'm going to topics that I'm going to talk about is the is a is what Poet on there was talking about, because I believe 100% in everything he was saying, and that's what I've been feeling throughout this whole time, but I haven't spoken about it, and I would tell you just in a bit why I haven't spoken about it. However, right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the reason why I've been off, and then I would go into the subject of Black Lives Matter and all the riots that's going on and the protests that's going on, and my thoughts behind that, and just what I've been thinking. So let's start with why I haven't been on. So the reason why I haven't been on is because I just felt very low for an extremely long time, because I felt like I was doing this and not knowing what I was doing this for, because obviously I haven't been getting many views, and the reason why I do this is in order for people to listen and for me to speak to people and to the public and to get my views across. But if nobody's listening, it was at the time I was just feeling, if nobody's listening, why do this? Why talk to a brick wall? But although I may not have a big platform, it's still a platform. It's still a way of getting things off my chest, and to maybe one day someone will be listening and give me some information and answer all the questions that I have, if not all of them, at least some of them that I have. So that's why I'm back on. But yeah, I've just felt just extremely down, and I felt like nobody was listening, nobody at all, and I still feel that way. But I'm just going to do this in the hopes of having faith of someone actually listening in. The reason I've actually recently realized why I'm doing this, and I've always had it in my mind. It's always been the thing that I've always spoken to people about. Whenever they say, "Why do you do this?" I always tell them this answer. I always give them this answer, but I've never actually projected on it. I actually realized I'm not actually doing anything with this. And so when people tell me, "Oh, why are you doing this? What is the origin behind this?" I tell them that as a kid, the first things that I did in life, all I ever wanted to do was go to Disneyland. That was the only thing I wanted to do. Then I went Disneyland, and I was like, okay. I went to Disneyland at the age of 5. So I was thinking to myself, okay, what the hell am I going to do now? I have no idea what to do. Sorry about that. But yeah, I have no idea what I'm going to do. And I was like, I've finished my life already. I don't know what to do. So I started watching the news. Started seeing things that was going on in the world, and the first thing that I saw was people getting attacked because of their sexuality. Now, at the time I was living in a bubble. I didn't know anything. I knew that I was poor. I knew that there was many things that I couldn't afford. There was I knew that life was difficult, but it was a way of just going out there and doing what you wanted to do. Now, I then started to realize people getting attacked because of their sexuality, and as a kid, I did not understand this. I didn't know what different sexualities were, but I knew it was wrong for them to be attacked for loving another person. So I wanted to do something about that. Then I came across people getting attacked because of their skin color, and that sickened me, because I didn't understand, and I still don't understand why people are getting attacked because of their skin color and because of their sexuality, because of the person who they are. I've never understood that. And then I started to see it's the people in power, the police, doing this. So my first thought was, okay, let me be a police officer. Not to join in with the corruption, but to go into the system and change it. Now, I had this at a very young age. I was still 5 at the time when I thought about this. And I really just wanted to do something about this because I felt it's not right. This shouldn't be going on. So, what I did was I then realized actually going into the police force, that's covering one base, that could be only like, being in my local area or something like that, and I might not have a high chance of changing the system inside of it. So I then thought of going into the army just because I felt like the people that goes into the army, they're more acceptable. This was my thought process at the time. I didn't hear many bad things about the army, but I heard a lot of bad things about the police. So but then I started thinking more, and I was like, why don't I just speak my mind? Why don't I just become a public speaker, doing everything that I can, all the knowledge that I have, and then gain knowledge while I'm going through life and giving that knowledge out to the people. So that is why I'm doing what I'm doing now, why I'm speaking to you guys. And I feel like I forgot about that. I feel like it's always been in my mind. It's always been on the top of my tongue. But I have never, like on any of my podcasts, I don't believe I've spoken a lot. I've always wanted to do it in a happy light in order to inform and educate. However, I feel like a lot of people are informed and educated, but they're informed and educated on a lot of topics that goes on, but they don't know how to go into the system, how to change the system. And that is why I'm doing this. I'm doing this in order to change the system and gather people around me to help change the system. But I forgot about that. I always just thought of, I need to influence, I need to motivate, I need to educate. I need to do more than that. And that is what I'm going to do now. However, throughout the whole, a reason why I kept on losing that thought process, why I kept on forgetting about that, is because of the reason every single time I would go, anyone in my life, nearly every single person in my life, I would talk to and say, I want to do this. I want to help make a change in this world. Nearly every single one of them, even family members, told me I cannot do it, that there is no way of doing this. They didn't even say, oh, you can at least give it a try. No, they said you cannot do this. But now, I don't give a damn what they think. I don't care anymore. I'm going to do this. I don't care how hard I have to do this. I will do this. And you guys should do this as well. Make a change in this world, because you are going to have kids. Possibly you will have kids. I hopefully will have kids, and I don't want my kids to come into this world feeling like the whole world is against them, just as I have felt. Now that's a bit that's about it for what I'm gonna for today, of what I want of talking about. I think this will be a quick podcast. I'm not quite sure. It'll possibly be quite quick. But this is just my raw emotions. The other times it was me just kind of filling in the gaps and going, oh, it's only been 15 minutes. Oh, it's only been half an hour. Let me talk a half an hour more. This time I'm just going to talk and I'm just going to say whatever I want to say. And for however long it takes, well, it's out there. Now, this is off raw emotions, so I just want to tell you guys, before I start speaking on anything else, I want to say right now, if there's any questions, if you got any questions of of anything that I've said, if you feel offended about anything that I've said, if I've if I've misinformed about anything, please comment down below or give me your an email telling me, and like what I've said wrong or any answers that you have to my questions. Because I'm not doing this, I'm at this current moment I'm not going to talk about the whole Black Lives Matter and the whole problem that's going in not only America but in the whole world of racism. I'm not going to talk about that like I know everything that's going on, because to be honest, I don't, and that's why I'm speaking about this, because I want to learn. Now, I've done this is the thing. I've done a bunch of research, and and I'm not talking about just now that's going on. A lot of people are saying this time it's it's this time it's been its worst. This time is bad. This time it's let me just put it out there. It's not this time. It's not. It's all the time. There is no this time. It's not like it just all of a sudden happened. No, this has been happening. Now, we have footage of everything that goes down, but from the footage that I've been watching and observing on the protest that's going on America, I can't say the same for the UK, because I haven't seen much of the what's been happening in the UK. But in later on, I will say why I haven't yet been in the protest or haven't yet been out fighting on with you guys. I will say that later on, and I'll clear that up why that hasn't happened yet. However, seeing all this happen in America, and you can clearly see the police just don't care. There are obviously some police that actually goes, you know what, I'm sickened of what's happened, and I'm here to march with you guys, and I respect that. But there are a lot of police officers there who are blatantly out racist. They are not hiding it anymore. That's where this has come. I feel like it's been a thing where the police before has been only targeting black people, but trying to do it in a sly way. But now it's like, oh, well, everyone knows, so we're just gonna go all out and do it anyway. So my thoughts on the protest. I love that we're doing this, and the thing that I do hate is the fact that we have to do it, because we shouldn't have to ask for our rights. That's not a thing. We are human. That is the way it is. We are human, so we should have human rights. We shouldn't be judged on we shouldn't be judged on our looks. That doesn't make any sense at all. So I really just want to understand why they do it, and understand what exactly is going on. But the way everything's being dealt, I don't exactly understand what's happening. And please, like, inform me on everything that's going on my questions, just so I can have a clearer picture of what's going. Sorry about that. Just so I can have a clearer idea of what's happening. At first, I feel so. I want to go into this the topic of paying for George Floyd's memorial and funeral and everything like that. At the start, I didn't know what was happening. I just heard a lot of people saying pay for put money to Black Lives Matter and to put money here and there, and it was real confusing because it was as like obviously seeing this all go down. This was at the very start of it all going down, but I just didn't see. At the time, I didn't know it was about the funeral or the memorial. And I feel that should have been cleared up more. That should have, instead of people going, I'm saying this in the sense of, I get everyone's angry and I get it's a thing of, we need to, stick together and all that. But we also got to understand there's a lot of people that might not understand what's going on and might not know what's happening. So for us to just go out there and, kind of say pay for this or put money to this, or like if you, and it in a threatening way of like, if you don't do this then you're not with us, or if you don't do this then you're a bad person. I feel that was not the right way to go about it. I feel we should have put some more information on top of that, saying this is for the funeral, this is for the memorial, because there are a lot of times that has happened where actually, I'm not going to speak about that, but actually I will know. I will. Things such as like, churches and all that, you're putting money in, but you're not told exactly where it's going to go to or what's happening with it. And I'm not saying I distrust it. I just didn't know what it was, but I now do. So everyone, this is a great time to inform you guys about. Please send money there. If you have any money, obviously this is a stressful time for everyone, especially with the whole COVID going on. It's, you're gonna be tight on money, so but if you can, please donate. It does go to his funeral and to his memorial. I'll try and put that in. I'll try and find the links for that and put that down in the description as well. I also want to talk about the way of how the protests are being held, and what questions that I have about it, and things that I do not understand about it. I want to go into. I feel there's so this is my understanding of what I've observed. So I cannot say it's a fact. Everything that I say in this podcast, I cannot say it's a fact. It's only my understanding. However, what I understand is there's no leaders actually. I feel there's a lot of, and this is exactly what Poet was saying in the podcast, which is down in the description below. This is exactly what he was saying, which was there's no exact leader. It's like there's the protest going on, the peaceful protest, then you have the riots, then you have the looters. So there's so many things going on right now that it's very confusing to know what's the origin, where's the direction, where are we going to, where are we heading to. So it's very difficult to know what's happening right now and where we stand, and where we obviously know what the end goal is, and the end goal is to get justice. But we see the start goal and we see the end goal. It's not even the start goal. We don't even really see the start goal. We just see the end goal. And we're doing this out of emotions. And I feel we need to slow down for a bit. Obviously, as Poet was saying, and I feel this is the best strategy, have people, go out and do the protest and, speak out for us. But at the same time, we locally, we have people doing music about this, using your art over this, so you can have use your platform for this. We should also speak to the youth, and that's the one thing I've always wanted to do. That's the one thing that I've always branded myself on. That's speaking to the youth in order to mold their minds, so then they can fix the system. Because this isn't gonna be fixed after this protest. Like, it's not a thing of, oh, we shouted it out, now they're gonna fix everything for us. No, it's gonna be a slow process, but it will happen. I promise you. There's no way that racism possibly could be here forever. But the amount of racism and the racism in the system can decrease if we make it. So if we mold these young minds of the young youth, because we've seen it already. I've from my eyes. So I think I've wandered off a bit. I kind of want to go back to talking about the protests and not having a leader. I feel that we've had we talk a lot in this protest. We talk a lot about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and a big inspiration for me, and I feel he's very in a leader role, is XXXTentacion. But even and I'm not blaming them because and I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong, but I feel there is things that they can do better. And there are people so what I want to say is there's people from whether it's current or past whether it's current or past members only. I've seen some of them go out and they're representing X. And I mean this in the nicest way, and I'm not saying this I love X so much. He's done, he means a lot to me. But I feel right now we need a leader. We need a new leader, someone who is here, someone that we can look up to and then be like, okay, this is what we need to do. Someone who gives us directions and strategy. And there probably is, but if there is, we need to boost them up more. We need to represent them more, because we're not doing that right now. If there is a leader right now, whether it's someone's in, whether it's someone in George Floyd's family, or if it's someone in a leader of the Black Lives Matter, we need to represent them. We need to boost them up, because from my understanding, we're kind of doing our own thing, and we're kind of doing this all out of emotions, which is understandable. But when you tell the whole world to go and drive on with emotions, this is why the police they're able to, from footage that I've seen, there's a reason why they are able to trap us into bushes and able to attack us. It's because they think about it. They talk to each other on how can we do this? How can we trap them? Should we trap them? Okay, if we are going to trap them, how do we do this? What should we do after? They speak to each other beforehand. And this is from my understanding of what I've observed. Now, if I'm wrong, please tell me and please inform me on that I'm wrong. But from what I've observed, we have not spoken to each other about any plans. And I understand we're doing a peaceful protest, but at the same time, we've seen it happen. We've seen peaceful protests turn into riots because the police just starts attacking. If that's the case, we need a strategy. We need a way of if the police are to attack us, where do we run to? Where do we do what do we do next? Such as you can go to a show, you go to shows, you go to events, you go to you go to school, anywhere you go to, where whether it's a building or an outside event, there's always the strategy of a fire drill. You obviously don't go there so there can be a fire, but just in case of an emergency, you have places to run. You have strategies and plans in order to get out safely, and that's what we need to do. If we are doing that, then please inform me on that. It's just an idea that I have from everything that I've observed. I think also what we need to do. I believe that also there's we need to speak to the youth as well, and build them up in order to get into these roles, in order to become the police officers, in order to become the politicians, so they can then make a change. I also want to talk about the fact that I feel a lot of what we have been doing is saying to allies of the Black Lives Movement. I feel like we've been saying to them a lot, oh, you need to be with us, you need to do this, you need to do that, which, yeah, but we're kind of we're telling them about our story, where I feel like, and then we're also telling the police about our story. Now, the allies are with us and they're helping us. Talking to the police, they are a brick wall. That is why we need to talk to each other. We need to talk to each other, and I don't mean things like, oh, I've had racism happen to me. Oh, I've had it happen to me as well. It should be, okay, how can we now prevent this? How can we make a change? And if this is happening again, please tell me. This is just from my observant. I'm going to be real with you guys. I am a black male, but I do feel privileged because only once I've had racism happen to me, and that's only because a person got angry and then they was like, let me just see the worst name that I can say, and then they called me the N-words they were ignorant. I don't believe they were racist, because it's not like they hated me because I was black. It was just they were just looking for a word to say, and then they said that it's not right, and yeah, they shouldn't have done that. But at the same time, yeah, it wasn't a racist attack. It was just a racist slur. So I feel I'm privileged. I haven't been stopped and searched. I haven't. A lot of people don't see me as the stereotypical black guy. A lot of people will call me white, and I don't really care. But I also got to take in consideration, because a lot of people out there can say, oh, well, I'm mixed, or I'm this, I'm that, so if anything's to happen, it wouldn't happen to me. No, you are the first person it would happen to. If there was going to be slavery right now, even though I feel privileged and I feel that I can be extremely close to people of the opposite race, of even someone who is a racist, and I don't mean like close to them, but I mean they wouldn't see me as a stereotypical black person, but that would just make me the first person that they would choose as their slave, because they would see me and be, oh, I get along with him so well, so I need him. So anybody who is standing back and then saying, "Oh, it's not gonna happen. This doesn't affect me," it does affect you, because even if you are not black yourself, it can affect you because of your children could go out with someone who is black. Yourself can go out with someone who is black. Anyone in your family can go out with anyone who is black, or be friends with someone who is black, or even someone who is black could be a great big deal in their life or even your life. So don't hold back. Don't say this is not my battle, because it is your battle. It's the world's battle. What does racism do? What does it do? Honestly, tell me what it does, because I have no idea what it does to improve this world. It doesn't do anything to improve this world. We could have advanced from ages ago. Back in the days where, in the 1960s, we finally, were able to mix with each other, and we weren't exactly getting along, but things were getting better. And what happened back then? We even went to the moon. Things advanced extremely because we were holding back on racism. But just because things advanced back then doesn't mean it's advancing now. It advanced, but it isn't advancing. And that is what I want you guys to think about. This has never changed. I've always been watching this. I've always been seeing racism going on. And I don't exactly know what to do. So I just watch it, and I've kind of had to step back at this time, because I just thought that everyone knew that racism was going on, but they didn't know as well. That was my thought process, because I saw it everywhere. I saw racism everywhere. But I'm now realizing it's not that I saw it everywhere, because racism can be hidden. But I make sure that I'm open-minded and that I can see it. I can see everything that goes on. So I can see it, but I can understand how someone else can't see it now. How someone who is not black, how someone who is very privileged will not see this. Won't even know what's happening right now. I can see that happening. I can see it now. Because I put myself into these situations where I do my research. I make sure that I know everything that is happening in this world. But not everyone does that. So I can see how, because racism can be hidden, and it can be, not in the eye of a lot of people, I can now see how some people can be ignorant to what is going on. But what I can't see is how racism is doing us any good. Because we advanced back then. Just imagine if we were to completely get rid of racism, where we would be now. The most advanced now we can say is we have self-driving cars, we have laptops, we have phones, we have TVs, and we're surprised at that. We're like, look how far we've gotten to. Imagine how more far we would have, how further we would have been right now if we all just stood together, if we all were together as one, if everyone was in power. Just imagine that. It could be amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now we need to find a way to change the system. It now is no longer changing each other, which, of course, we do have to change each other and be there for each other. And there's obviously some people who are ignorant and racist, and we need to change that. But the system is the worst thing. The system's out there making things worse. We need to change that. We all need to band together, because as I've seen, it isn't just black people going there and fighting for their own rights. White people are going there as well, of many different colours and shades and genders and sexualities are going there to fight for Black Lives Matter. So we see that we are in harmony, that we are all as one, that we can do this. But it's now time to change the system. We need to band together and come up with a plan. We need to have some sort of leader or leadership. We need to talk to each other. Because just like the other marches and the other protests that has happened before George Floyd, we cannot have this protest and march go unsaid. We cannot have this happen without justice, and then 5 years, 2 years, 1 year down the line we do this again because something else has popped up. We need to prevent anything else from happening again. I think I've said everything that I've wanted to say. I also want to say, guys, don't use this as a trend. It's not a trend. Don't go and post something up. So if you do podcast and you were to do a show about this, this isn't a one-time thing. It's not, oh, here's awareness to this. This has been going on for so long that it's not about having awareness. It's about always being aware. Not, oh, here's an awareness for racism. Okay, let's go back to our normal lives. It's never gonna be a happy life if we don't end this racism. So we need to stop with this, the post, like one-time post or something like that. If you're doing a podcast, carry on talking about this subject. If you're an artist and you rap or you sing or you do anything musical, keep doing songs about this. And I'm not saying do songs about this 24/7, because obviously you are your own person, but you also got to bring, until racism is gone, until Black Lives Matter, we cannot stop saying that. We cannot stop protesting. We cannot stop spreading awareness about this until something is done. And I also want to say, don't post for the sake of posting just because, oh, well, this is such a trendy topic, or it's not a topic, it's not a trending topic. Racism isn't a trend. It's disgusting that people are doing that. I've had people use my name saying, oh, well, like, when someone would say, oh, put 5 black people that you know, I wouldn't be talking to this guy. I wouldn't even speak to these people for how long? They wouldn't want to speak to me for how long? But it's funny how once something like this happens, they want to go and get clout, that my name is then popped up. Then somehow they want to talk about me. Because I'm in their context and I'm in their contacts and I'm black. It's funny how that happens. Stop going for clout. This is not about clout. I'm just going to end it off with this. I'll be back next week, and this isn't going to, until we get justice, until we get what is truly and deserved for us, which is our human rights, I will be talking about this subject every single week. I love you guys, and I pray to God that you're all safe and that you're all happy. But unfortunately, we cannot all be happy at this time. just like many times we have not been able to be happy. So let's fight for our happiness, for our freedom. Unfortunately, we have not all been able to be safe, but let's fight for our safeness. And for anyone saying, yeah, there's black on black crimes, that doesn't mean anything when that is just a crime. And it shouldn't happen. You know, we should fight for that. But at the same time, there are reasons why black people attack other black people, because it's in their heads that, oh, I am now poor, I got to do this in order to get out of this, or I'm in this environment, this is something I have to do, because they are put in there by the system. And other times, it's just crime. But the most of the times, we are killed by the system. And I cannot just say just police officers, because it goes higher than that. It goes from MPs, it goes from presidents, it goes from queens, it goes from kings, it goes from princes, it goes from princesses, it goes from the government, it goes from the mayor, it goes on and on. It's the system. Now, I love you all, and I'm not going to be doing that just as I did in my other podcast, which is the intros and the outros. I'm not doing all that, because this ain't the time for it. I'm gonna have to speak to you guys next week. Love you all.